Hey, it's Randy Lee with the Flipping Genius podcast. We're going to walk through a purchase at a dealer auction just to give you a feel. I'll probably do this in a few different segments, and then maybe we'll loop them all together at some point. But I want to take a look at one particular van that I bought this week at Insurance Auto Auction here in Alabama. It was a '08 Kia Sedona. You see it on the screen here. Pretty decent looking vehicle. I wanted to show you the pictures that I got to see at the auction, and I also got to see a 10-second video of the vehicle actually running. You can see from all four sides it looks pretty decent. It has 146,000 miles. It is a LX model, which is pretty much a base model. Pretty clean inside. The tires have air in them. That's what they show you. You can run down there and see these vehicles beforehand, but 9 times out of 10 they will not start, and they do not let you bring a jump box in. So what you see is what you get. That 10-second video, you want to listen real hard to see what you've got. So I'm going to talk about the purchase first, and then we'll take a look at what we got and find out what we have as this thing works through. But today, in this first segment, we're just going to take a look at the vehicle itself. So 146,000 miles, that's pretty decent. I've got in my mind what the vehicle is worth going in and what I think it'll sell for, which is probably, I'm guessing, around $3,500 to $4,000 for this vehicle when it's all repaired. So I got to buy it and make money on it. So obviously that's where we're at. This is a title pawn car, which means they're usually not taken care of real well. But with the miles that are on it and the sound I was hearing in my 10 seconds, I felt pretty good about it. So I threw in a bid of $800 was what I was hoping to buy it for. In the midst of the battle, which is all happens online, you bid on these vehicles online against other online bidders, and the bidders come from all over the country. Most of them are in our backyard, but you're also bidding from people in Mexico and literally all over the country. I saw somebody bidding from Portland, Oregon, not on this particular vehicle, but on other vehicles like it, which is wild that they're going to, transport this that far. But some of them have bigger upside potential than this one. I was in at $800. It looked like I was going to lose the bid because I did a pre-bid, and I had a chance to go to $850. I did. I hit $850, and I got the high bid on it, which that in itself seems pretty great. We're going to talk a little bit about what that really means, because it doesn't really mean that much of anything because you haven't won the bid yet. What happens is they have fees, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But first, you haven't really won the bid yet either because they don't have to accept your high bid. And what these guys did is they came back, and after the auction of this vehicle was over, within a couple minutes, I had a counter offer from them saying I could buy it now for, I believe, $1,100. So they would take $1,100, $1,175 actually is what they offered, and I said no, I will not buy that vehicle for $1,175. Then they have a chance to just say, okay, well, you can't buy it at all, and come back the next week and try it again. But instead of doing that, they came back and said, okay, we counter at $1,000. Will you buy it at $1,000? And I said, no, I want to keep my bid at $850, and that's the most I will pay. They could have come back again and countered. Now, I could have countered back at $900 or $950 or $975. I could have come up in $25 increments. I could come back and counter, but I chose to just stay at $850. And I'll show you. You might think, Randy, you're so cheap, but I'll show you in a minute part of why I do that. Well, within a few more minutes, they came back and said, okay, we'll take your $850, and I have officially bought the vehicle. It gives me a couple days to go pick it up and pay for it, and I, of course, did that. But before we take a look at that, I want to go over this thing that I've talked about before. And if you saw episode 161, I believe, I talked about the crazy fees that you pay at auctions all over the place. But insurance auto auction, especially when you're buying vehicles in this low price range, their fees are in excess of 60%, I believe. And so My $850 plus fees and tax comes to $1,278 plus another 20 bucks because I'm paying in person. I don't know how else you pay. So I come and pay in person and pick up the car myself, and there's a story to that, but we'll talk about that later. The total cost is $1,298, so basically $1,300 to buy a $850 vehicle. So that's why I pinch every penny, because it all comes out. If you're going to make a profit, you've got to watch all of the pennies, including those ones that add up, those extra $448 that I paid over the $850. So my purchase price on this one is $1,298. I felt pretty good about it going out there to go get it. And we're going to take a look at that on the next video. We'll take a look at that arrival, take a look at what I was looking at, and even take a little look at how they load the vehicles and some other stuff that you might not have seen before. I know there was a time when I hadn't seen it before. I always find it kind of fascinating. So I'll share look at the big forklifts and at the menagerie of vehicles that are out there. This isn't the biggest auction, but they're all pretty cool. Car auctions are one of my favorite things to do. So we'll take a look at that. So we bought this thing for a total of $1,298, and there should be potential for a win here unless I run into trouble. We'll talk about that down the road. So thanks for tuning in. We're gonna, if you're watching the long view of this video, you'll see a break now. If you're watching the short view of this video, look for the next one in the series, and you'll be able to piece them all together. Thanks for listening to Flipping Genius. You can find us on flippinggenius.com. That's FLIPPINGENIUS.com. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe everywhere. And if you really want to make some money, become one of our flipping partners or flipping team members, and we would love to work directly with you and help you make more money.